traveling around this area is what I'm going to call Alpine Philosophy. Nietzsche kind of famously used to take summer retreats here in the late 1800s. He would write a lot of his what we call like mature philosophies. And you can see and sense a hubris that could be possible when you stand atop these mountains on a hike and look down on a village below and sort of see the smallness of humanity from that vantage point. We should have followed Heraclitus instead of Socrates. Tolkien was inspired by the Swiss Alps. To me, start to get this feeling of Swiss neutrality.
Walking through the caves. Lead the way, cutie. We just walked through the St. Asip caves. Legend has it, 19 years ago, an Irish monk went into the cave, found a dragon, killed it, spent the rest of his life preaching Christianity, is my understanding from the signs.
I don't think he killed the dragon. Instead, he chased it out.
Probably.
I don't think like a nice Christian.
Chased it out of his heart.
Yeah. Murdered it.
For sure. Anyway, it was very cool. Still a rainy day here in Switzerland. Good rainy day activity. Magical, all the same. All right, Kyle, what are we doing today?
We are paragliding today. We are jumping off a cliff, fly through the air, hopefully survive. It's gonna be great.
I think where we're going, somewhere, you can't see it, there's clouds over there. I think we'll fly in up here, come down, maybe go around a little bit, and then we are going to land in this here field somewhere. Here they come in.
Unless it's like 10 in the air and then 10 making your way down.
I've got my man.
Hey yo,
Yeah.
living the dream. Trying not to die today.
It's gonna be great. We got Jungfrau in the distance over there. It's gonna be amazing. This is where we're gonna run up. Just run down the hill.
You could definitely use AI, like to help inform you, and like help you figure out what you need to do from like a legal perspective. But there's something called like human in the loop, which just means a human has to be involved in the process because there's still, it's called hallucinating, which is where the AI gives you wrong or false information, or it messes up still a lot.
Okay.
And so there's still a lot of like human oversight that's needed. Yeah.
Because I heard a lot of tech is in Texas, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Oh wow, that is unreal as you just crest over that mountain. This is just unbelievable. Oh, so it used to be an adventure park.
Yeah.
All right, now we are gonna do the harder run hike on all trails. If you can see it, 4.6 miles, 25 feet of elevation. That's down and back. Let's get it. This is where they run. It's insane to me. This is where they start and run the Jungfrau Marathon. How are we feeling?
Good. Cats are screaming.
About a mile in. I don't know, I'd say at least 1,000 feet up.
probably another mile or so to go. That's where the tram goes up. This is where we go. Just complete presence in the now. Loving their little grass and their little lives. Ringing their little bells. Making magical music for the tourists. Alright, we are at 2 miles, about a little over 2,000 feet of climb. Have probably 500 meters left. 300 meters of climb. Finish strong. See you at the top. See the paragliders in the distance. How's us? I don't know if you can see them. Alright. We made it. We made it. How do we feel? There guys. Hour and 5 minutes. 2.4 miles. 2,500 feet to get to here. Amazing. Incredible. Look at this. That's where we took off from paragliding. Alright, we are on Mount Pilatus.
Alright, so we're sitting here in Switzerland, in Interlaken, Switzerland. One of the things is I've been hiking and traveling around this area is what I'm going to call Alpine Philosophy. Nietzsche kind of famously used to take summer retreats here in the late 1800s where he would write a lot of his what we call like mature philosophies. I think Thus Spake Zarathustra specifically has for its premise a hermit who lived in the Alps or high mountains for 10 years and then comes down to earth with this wisdom of, you know, the Overman. Nietzsche had his Übermensch, this double-edged sword of Alpine philosophy, because on the one hand you have something like Nietzsche and his Overman and the idea that man should create his own values, and you can see and sense a hubris that could be possible when you stand atop these mountains on a hike and look down on a village below and sort of see the smallness of humanity from that vantage point. And then you start to get a glimpse into Nietzsche's mind of how, whether it was Christianity or Plato's philosophy, and how he viewed those as philosophies of the weak, and how he saw them as basically something like weak people's attempt to level the playing field between themselves and the stronger, and he took issue with that. He had an objection against that. That's why he thought we should have followed Heraclitus instead of Socrates and Plato. That was his main critique of Christianity, is that it was for the weak. But on the other side of the token, you also get a little bit of this sense of the view from above, sort of lifting yourself out of the troubles of the day. And I think that this is why Tolkien was inspired by the Swiss Alps in his creation of Rivendell and the elves. In Lord of the Rings, the elves have this demeanor where they are somewhat above and disinterested in the conflicts of man as these passing things. And you can get that sense when you're on top of these mountains too, of you sort of look down and you see how small the troubles of your day-to-day life truly are in the grand scheme of things, and how so much of what we face on a day-to-day basis doesn't really matter. But if taken too far, it can turn into this sort of apathy, which raises, another sort of like thing to think about, where just being in the Swiss Alps, you start to understand a little bit, or to me, start to get this feeling of like Swiss neutrality and what that even means in periods of war. The Swiss are famous for being neutral in conflict, and it's a little bit of the energy that the elves bring in Tolkien, and so there's a quality about it that's admirable in terms of sort of lifting yourself outside of the emotional conflicts of the day, but that can quickly turn into this sort of apathy. And then that's one of the main conflicts in Lord of the Rings, actually, is the conversation, whether it's between Elrond and Aragorn or Galadriel and Gandalf, is there's this tension between how much did the elves get involved to overcome Sauron. Anyway, so all of this is just my sort of reflections as I'm in this space. We went paragliding yesterday, hiked some of the mountains. It's just, I feel like I'm living and breathing this Alpine philosophy that influenced great works, great writers like Nietzsche and Tolkien, and Lord Byron, I know, has a poem about calling the Alps the palaces of nature. And I believe the same summer that Lord Byron wrote the poem referring to the Alps as the palaces of nature is the same summer that Mary Shelley conceived Frankenstein. So there's a lot of very interesting inspiration and things happening in these mountains. So it's been cool to sort of sit right here, look at these mountains while I'm writing. Paragliding yesterday was an incredible experience. And then hiking Harder Klume yesterday sort of caused reflection on this idea of Alpine philosophy with an intense hike. And then the day before that, going to the St. Vitus Caves, where legend tells that 1800 years ago, he was one of the first Christians sent to this area by St. Peter. Around 300, went up into those caves where he found a dragon dwelling. He chased the dragon out with the cross. It went down into the lake, and then he later defeated the dragon with the cross again, the Holy Trinity, and then began evangelizing to the people in the area where they used to go up to his cave. Again, another hermit in the heights, so to speak, to be healed. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but apparently another legend, or at least folklore in the caves itself, is there's some sort of scientifically proven unit, can't remember what it's called, is known as life energy, and in the caves there's something like 10 times more than is in other typical environments. Can't remember the exact name, but I did find it very interesting that how easy it was to breathe and what the air was like in the caves. But anyway, all of this is sort of inspired my reflections on something I'm going to refer to as Alpine philosophy. I'll write about it in a blog probably this upcoming weekend. But if you ever get the chance, cannot recommend enough to visit this place, especially in the summer. It's a little bit chilly. The experience has been incredible. Off to Lucerne next, and then northern Italy. Peace.